Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of the Wild Eye Diaries. It's been an incredibly exciting week for us as a Wild Eye team. There's been lots happening. Firstly, our Great Migration season is well and truly kicked off, and we've also opened up new offices, still in the design quarter, but with the team sort of expanding quite a bit. The time has come to now get onto bigger and greater things, and that includes our office as well. Now, for me also on a personal level, it's been great to be back this last week behind the computer. It's actually been the first time since about end of June that I've been back in the office. So long time out in the field. I've hosted back-to-back Masai Mara experience weeks, and then off to the Timbavati and also Kruger safaris, also back-to-back. So this last week has been great, catching up on mails, doing blogs, strip reports, and as I mentioned, also just catching up on all those mails that you miss out when you're on safari. I fly out again tomorrow, off to Mana Pools, so very excited for that. But it's busy times ahead for us. We're absolutely loving it, and hope that you guys are enjoying the content coming from the field. Now, as I mentioned, our new offices have opened up this week, still in the design quarter, and Andrew's going to take us for a quick tour around what the new offices look like. Let's check it out. Can't wait to see it.
So 7 years ago on the day, downstairs at a very large office for 3 people, Wild Eye was born. We're now 7 years down the line, and we have just moved into a new space. We're still in the design quarter, so for those of you who have visited us, the same area, we're just one floor up right towards the end, directly above the Lindt chocolate store. Yes, that was a strategic move as well. But come check it out, this is the new office. So 7 years on, and things have changed. There are more than 3 people involved in this whole company at the moment, Johan.
Yeah, not more, so we needed more space.
And this is quite a fresh place. I think it fits the brand as well, eh?
Yeah, it's nice and clean. I think just going onto the space, in my business career, I've always liked to have more space than we needed, because I think companies grow into that space and expand a lot quicker. So I'm very happy with the additional space. It's a nice clean office, a lot different to the previous office we had. Not quite finished yet. We've still got a few images and stuff to put up to brighten it up, but really happy and glad we made the move. Look forward to many happy years here and successful years.
I think one of the biggest things here is that it's far more open as well. Yeah. So if you come and check it out, we've got our kitchen set up here. So if you want to come and join us for a cup of coffee, we've also got a nice area for working on Lightroom, and I'm going to be seeing a couple of people on Friday. We're going to work through Lightroom catalogs and that sort of stuff here. We've now got a very nice workspace with a little drawing board at the back. We've got our star of the show here, Trev.
I know that.
What do you think of the new space, mate?
Pretty incredible, eh? I was only just getting used to the previous one, but yeah, nice change, nice big area, excited.
And nice that we're all kind of working together.
Yeah,
the other one, we had that big divider in the back.
Yeah.
This is a lot more open and
it's nice.
More conducive to a productive environment.
Absolutely.
And then we've also got a very cool meetings room. I really like the chameleon in there, and that's worked out well. We've been able to kind of reappropriate some of the gear and shop fittings that we had in the previous office into this office, which has been quite nice. And so later on, we're going to be getting a new TV, and this is obviously where our digital photography courses are going to be run, but also now we can do a lot more in terms of offering courses and workshops and one-on-one private tuition here in the office, and then a small kind of view. One of the things that you notice when you walk into this office, though, is that you can actually look straight out, and it's quite nice. It's a lot more light and airy compared to our previous office. So yeah, 7 years down, and a whole lot of changes, all for the good. We've got a really great team of people helping us to change the way that people see the world, and based on the feedback that we've been getting from what has been a very busy safari season, we are able to do just that. And I think that this new office space is going to bring new ideas, new creativity, and a renewed sense of energy. So 7 years on, we're just getting started.
Awesome stuff, Andrew. Thanks so much. Guys, as you can see, bigger, better, and exciting times ahead for us. We are extremely proud of what we've achieved over the last few years, but this is only the beginning and lots more to come. If you're in the Johannesburg area, whether you live there or just passing through, maybe on your way on safari, please come and have a cup of coffee with us. Come meet some of the guys. We'd love to have you there and discuss anything safari or photographic related. Now, two guys who have also been traveling quite a bit and have been very bubbly about their last sort of few months experiences are Trevor and Alistair. And the two of them caught up to discuss some of the safaris that they hosted recently and some of the incredible sightings that they had. Let's catch up with Trevor and Al and see what they got up to.
Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of the Wild Eye Diaries hosted by Johan, and welcome Trev.
Thank you.
This week we just basically going to sit down and have a chat about the last couple of weeks that we've had on safari. Trev has been from Photo Academy to Madikwe, back to the Masai Mara to host his first Mara Experience Week, and I've been from Photo Academy to Botswana and various destinations therein, and then off to, where did I head after that?
I don't know, you told me Amboseli?
Yeah, that's right. So it's Lake Nakuru and Amboseli on a privately guided safari. And both Trevor and I are going to be in office for a week, basically, week and a half. And then I head off to the Masai Mara for my first Great Migration Safari hosted with Marlon back to back. Where do you head next?
I go away for my 2-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
To the Kruger.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually thought it would be cool for this segment just to include all of you in the catch-up between Al and I. Since the Photo Academy, we haven't seen much of each other at all. So
it's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then we're going to go an extended period now once again where we're not going to see each other for a while. So yeah, thought we would just catch up, share it all with you. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy it. So starting with you, Al, you mentioned where you've been. I know that I had a couple of firsts in that over the last couple of weeks on my safari that I'm sure you did too, experiencing new places, maybe some different sightings that you hadn't experienced before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I was really excited to get up to Botswana.
Yeah.
I've been to Botswana, quite a few years ago, but to totally different areas. So we had quite a diverse itinerary that was planned. We stayed at all the desert and delta safari lodges, which is really, really cool. First time experiencing those lodges, and I know Johan, who's obviously hosting this episode, is going to be putting a desert and delta safari itinerary together for 2019 to Botswana. So a lot of the video material that I'm going to be putting out over the next week or so will obviously help Johan in terms of that safari itinerary going forward. So we saw some pretty interesting places. We started out in the Makgadikgadi Game Reserve at a place called Lerula Town. We spent our first 3 nights there. Freezing cold, typical of that kind of semi-desert biome where really cold mornings, hot days and cool evenings. Game viewing was great. We had an awesome lion sighting, an incredible cheetah sighting of mother and 4 different cubs, or sub-adult cubs. Plenty elephant and tons of zebra and wildebeest.
Yeah.
In fact, second to the Mara, it's one of the biggest migrations of zebra and wildebeest in southern Africa. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that was a great experience. Tons of bird life and lots of cool things.
Yeah.
We tracked another lioness and 4 cubs for about a day and a half, but couldn't find them unfortunately. But that was quite an exciting experience nonetheless. From there, we took a small flight over into the Delta, into the heart of the Okavango, where we stayed at Camp Okavango, also desert and
Did
Delta
you say
safari.
you've been to the Delta before?
No, not to the Delta.
So first thought,
time,
flying in, amazing.
incredible. Yeah, you have to take shots from the plane. It's literally, you fly over these marshlands and there's these dark colors, and you see hippos, you see elephants, you see tons of game from the air.
Magic.
And obviously being in one of those light aircraft, you're flying pretty low as well, which is quite cool. Probably purposefully as well, being over the Delta.
Yeah.
So even if it's just phone shots, if you've got your camera packed away, take out the phone and take videos, take
Just
photos.
memory shots.
Just memory shots. It's so awesome flying over the Delta for the first time.
Yeah.
And you realize coming from the semi-desert biome where I've just come from, landing in the Delta is just completely different. Wetlands, tons of water, different reeds and papyrus reeds and things like that, so totally different. Anyway, so we landed in Camp Okavango, and that was our home for the next 2 nights. And of course everything there is centered around water, right? It's all about water experiences. So you ditch the game drives and you either head out on walking safaris in the morning, so you head out on a small boat to one of the islands, you hop off and do walking safaris, which is pretty cool. We had encounters with elephants and tons of different of animal species. The other thing is then to go and do a Mokoro ride, traditional Mokoro ride, which is really awesome in the traditional dugout canoes.
And that were you nervous at all for that? Because I went to Mana Pools a couple of years ago, and it's a canoe that they do along the river, but I know I was like, not a chance. You know, it's teeming with hippos, crocodiles. Mokoro, nervous? No.
Not really. I think I was more nervous that it was going to capsize. It's a little bit unstable.
Yeah.
But obviously the polars at the back do a really good job of keeping the boat quite stable.
Okay.
But you tend to avoid the areas where there's lots of hippo action or elephant action. You go in quite shallow waters, and you avoid the big game. You're looking more at kind of the red lechwe.
Yeah.
You're looking at bird life. You're just enjoying.
And I mean, there's no motor, so you're just drifting along,
it's
listening
so peaceful,
to the sounds.
You take in all the sounds. I had a wide angle, so you're really shooting for landscape, awesome sunset. So that's a really more calming, more tranquil experience. Typically avoiding the big game. You wouldn't want to run into a hippo in a Mokoro. So that's a one afternoon. But then the other 2 mornings we're doing boat rides. So we're actually going out on a motorized boat. All of our guests were on board, and we're getting really close to elephants that were swimming, which is something I've never seen before in the Delta.
Yes,
an incredible hippo experience. I'll drop the hippo picture in here as well, but hippo basically was rising straight out of the water, came towards the boat. So pretty awesome experiences from the Delta. And then from there we went to Moremi Game Reserve, Camp Moremi, which was insane. Probably
Amazing.
one of the best afternoons I've ever had.
Is this that specific site? Like, I don't want to. There's no spoilers, but this is the sighting. Okay.
So basically, the afternoon, the morning game drive was pretty quiet, right? And so the afternoon completely changed. We found a lioness and her cub, and they were feeding on a spur-winged goose that they just killed, right?
Spur-winged goose.
Spur-winged goose that they just killed. So they're finishing off this kill, and then they kind of crossed this narrow channel of water straight towards us. So amazing sighting on its own, right? Lioness and cub walking right along through this channel straight towards us was epic, okay? Epic sighting on its own.
Yeah.
From there, we left that sighting after staying with them for about 45 minutes, hoping they'd cross another narrow channel. They didn't. So after about 45 minutes there, we left, and we were kind of driving these floodplains. Kind of looks a lot like Mana Pools, actually.
Okay.
Beautiful floodplains,
Yeah.
big trees and everything. And about half an hour later, we got a radio call that someone had just spotted a pack of wild dogs. So naturally, we race across the floodplains trying to catch these dogs. And the wild dogs were being chased by a herd of elephants. And as you've seen, I'm sure, the elephants absolutely hate wild dogs. They go crazy. So we had that encounter of elephants chasing wild dogs. And then from there, we started to realize that the direction in which the dogs were running was straight back towards where we found the lioness and her cub. So we thought, jeez.
Could get interesting.
And it did. We first saw that the wild dogs were hunting lechwe and impala. They were just going at anything they could find in the floodplains. They missed every single time until they found the lioness and her cub, and all hell broke loose. Literally, it was like insane. Just dust clouds and noise and vehicles. It was just insane. But essentially, what was basically happening is that the wild dogs were trying to separate the young cub from the lioness, and she was doing her best job to try and keep the cub close and fight off all of these wild dogs. I think there were 18 of them in total. And so
it was just the lioness and her cub.
Just the lioness and the cub.
There was
no other pride members, nothing like that. So the lioness then attacked one of the wild dogs, and that just caused a massive frenzy. These wild dogs just came and just started biting this lioness. In the process, the cub then ran away for safety and was chased by another 2 wild dogs, one of which managed to tackle it to the ground. And we thought that was it. The cub gone, dead, no surviving that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it managed to get up and run underneath a fallen over tree, which was a small enough gap that the dogs couldn't follow in. So those 2 dogs then ran back and started attacking this lioness, and she was literally sitting on her tail and protecting it and just fighting off these
swinging
around trying to fight them. Insane. Dust everywhere, backlit dust. From a photography perspective, it's quite tricky, but if you got it right, really, really amazing.
Yeah.
And then we kind of, the lioness was then sort of reunited with her cub, and the dogs moved on.
So there's a good ending to the story.
Good ending to the story, thank goodness. And the dogs then ran away, and we followed them for a while until they went into a thicket. We couldn't follow them anymore. And as we were about to start up the vehicle and head back towards camp, we found a leopard in a tree, backlit with the most insane sunset, and all within about an hour and a half of each other.
Yeah.
So lioness and cub crossing a narrow channel, wild dogs, wild eye interaction with lioness and cub, and then leopard in a tree.
Yeah.
Probably the most insane afternoon I ever had on game drive.
But I mean, just looking back at safaris, I guess that's what keeps us going back for more. Eh? You have some of those days where it's dead quiet, you can't find anything, but when it erupts and it's chaotic, it's proper.
And literally, we couldn't have had anything more than what we had that afternoon. So
yes, that's incredible.
we really ended our Camp Maremi experience in the high. And then after that, we went to Chobe Game Lodge, where obviously the focus is along the Chobe River, watching hundreds upon hundreds of elephants coming down to drink, which was an sensational experience.
Yeah.
And from there, we just hopped over onto the Zambian side of Victoria Falls, stayed right along the Zambezi River, and spent a day and a half exploring both the Zimbabwean and the Zambian side of Victoria Falls, which is an incredible experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing trip, eh? Incredible.
Tell me about your first Mara experience week.
Sure. Also, pretty amazing. I mean, we went up for the Photo Academy a couple of weeks ago, and that in itself was special.
Yeah.
And we had great sightings. But this was one of those weeks, similar to you talking about the sighting now, about how you couldn't have had a better afternoon out there.
Yeah.
You know, we arrived in the Mara, not much change from when you and I had been up there.
Still long grass.
Still very, very long grass, very warm, a bit more dust, so quite a bit of dust. Wildebeest hadn't really arrived yet. There was some herds of zebra, but there's a few highlights for me. It's difficult to point out highlights because I mean it was a great week.
Yeah.
But you know, our first afternoon we went up onto a ridge, and with binoculars we looked into the Serengeti, and you could just see thousands of little black spots, ants on the horizon.
Jeez.
And you could literally see them on their way to the Mara.
Yeah.
And the second day, similar, but they had moved a little bit closer. But arriving back at camp that evening, our second evening, we got into camp, and I went to my room or my tent to freshen up, and it sounded like frogs. You could just hear like but like thousands of frogs.
Yeah.
And the wildebeest had moved to literally opposite our camp, opposite the Mara River. Unbelievable. So just to be in the Mara at the time that all the wildebeest and that were arriving.
Yeah, that's special.
Very, very special. We saw plenty of lions, including one very special individual. I know you obviously dying to see him.
Yeah.
But I had one of the guests, Jashika. She had been to the Mara 5 years ago.
Okay.
And she had obviously in the last couple of years heard all about Scar. She had never seen him.
Yeah.
And in our briefing we had discussed expectations, and no one really had an expectation. We were there just to enjoy ourselves, enjoy the Mara, enjoy the Wild Eye camp, and pretty much just head out on drive and let the bush show off.
Which is the best way to experience it.
Which is the best, exactly. And as a guide, when you have guests with those kind of expectations, you know you're in for a good time.
Yeah.
But she did mention that she would really love to see Scar. So we looked for him for a couple of days, and one morning we headed out with James, and we headed towards an area where Scar likes to hang out.
Yeah.
And we came around the corner, and I still remember 150 meters away, miles away, just a lion lying facing away from us, but this pitch black mane.
And
James immediately was like, no, it's Scar. So now obviously everyone's getting hyped up, and I'm like, I've started in this movie before, I've gotten it wrong before.
Yeah.
Let's just calm down.
Take it easy until we can confirm the ID.
Exactly. So we sat there for a bit, and literally after 5-10 minutes he stood up, and like he briefly gave us a glance, but like it was just long enough to see his eye. Knew it was Scar, and then he went and he lay down in a thicket, and that was our sighting. We
Typical
were like,
male lion behavior.
And you know, you can go weeks without seeing him there. I
Yeah.
mean, he can just disappear. So we're like, maybe that's our sighting of him. But our plan was to come back in the afternoon, which we did. And luckily for us, he was a bit closer to the road.
Nice.
And you know, we sat there for a little bit. Eventually, lifted his head and looked at us through the grass. Unbelievable. I mean, the feeling that runs through your body. You know, you've heard so much about this individual,
and then you're
literally sitting a couple of meters away from him. He's looking at you. He's a magnificent animal. So that was really, really special. And then another one for me was seeing my first crossing.
Yeah.
So unbelievable.
I'll never forget when Trevor sent the update to our office group that we got going on.
Yes, you know, you're going to experience it in a few weeks' time, and it's something, if you haven't witnessed a crossing, it's very difficult to describe the feeling of when you're sitting there and it just lets loose. We had seen a couple of small herds of zebra along the river running up and down, and they whoop, whoop, and they like get into like this frantic, and they're just running up and down the bank, and but then they move off and they start feeding again. And then they come back. So like there's a lot of patience required.
Definitely.
And this day we were driving close to the river and we saw a massive herd. Over 1,000 zebras. There's about 150, 200 wildebeest.
Yeah.
And you know, we had some very, very special sightings. So James and I said to the guests, listen guys, let's be patient. Let's just sit here.
Wait it out.
Wait it out. There's nothing else going on that we know about. So let's just, take a bit of time, reflect on what we've seen, and just maybe we get lucky and these guys cross. And chatting to Gerry and Andrew and all of them, you can wait for 6-7 hours for crossing. So we set in for the long haul, sat down, and we were lucky. Within half an hour, sitting there, the first zebra came, pretty much put its toe in the water, and then suddenly just it kicked off. And it was for me. It was the first time witnessing it, and yes, we're there to help with photographs and that, but it was such an overwhelming feeling.
I'm sure.
You've dreamt of this moment for ages. Now you're in the moment. There's just animals everywhere. There's chaos.
Dust,
there's noise. There's dust. There's crocodiles. There's so much. And I said to the guests, honestly, just give me a little bit of time. Like, it's so overwhelming. Like I don't even know what to think.
Yeah.
I'm
sure they were thinking the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take some video. Enjoy it, and it was unbelievable. So they crossed. It was about 45 minutes or so of them just going back and forth across the river. So it's not like they just cross once and that's them.
That's the thing. I think it's important to note. A lot of people think that if you miss, the first 5 minutes of the crossing is done, you don't get another chance. But it's a continuous thing that happens over a while. As you said, 45 minutes. So you, as Trevor says, rather take the first 5 minutes just to enjoy and appreciate what's going on before you really start diving into the photographs.
And I can guarantee if you've never seen it, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. So don't even try and pick up your camera.
Just
enjoy it because you're going to fumble around, you're going to stutter, your mind is blown.
Yeah.
Just take 5-10 minutes and enjoy it.
Calm down and then pick up the camera and we take it from there.
Yeah. But it was interesting as well because from an animal behavior point of view, looking at the crocs, there was 2 massive crocs. And you can see they're waiting there and the zebras and that start to cross and they select which one they're going to take. It's amazing. Like it's one of the first crossings of the year. You would think they're starving and they would go for the first one.
Yeah.
But you watch a croc and it literally swims up to a zebra, touches it with its nose, and is like, no,
not this one.
Moves on to the next one, and you can see they select it, and especially in that area, knowing crocs' behavior, they generally like to grab their prey, pull it underwater. But the water was quite shallow, so obviously that's not possible. And you're looking at an adult zebra; it's a powerful animal.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see they start to try and identify for the young individuals of the herd, and then try and capitalize on that. But
what an amazing experience!
In terms of those are just a few of some incredible moments that we had in the Mara. Hey?
Amazing,
unbelievable,
amazing.
And I mean, Gian and Mike and all of them, they're having an incredible time now. They've seen a couple of crossings. There was a crossing just downstream or upstream from the camp yesterday or the day before.
That's
so
right. And plenty of cheetah, it looks like.
Plenty of cheetah as well. So yeah, very, very special times, eh?
And your trip report went live yesterday?
Yesterday.
All of your images are up there?
All of the images are up there, yeah. So also chatted to the guests as well. I know that they've got some phenomenal images as well. So over the next week or two, going to put a little bit of a write-up from them awesome. Up on the site as well with some of their images. So we'll also give you a good idea of the kind of images that you can expect to take if you join us in the Mara.
Awesome. Well done. Yeah. Great experience.
Yeah, very, very cool.
And then I was in Kenya again. Yeah. So you just not too far from where you were actually, as the crow flies. But started on a privately guided safari in Lake Nakuru. That place is just spectacular. It
amazing,
really is sensational. Here, northern parts of the Kruger, as you know, you get small little groves of these fever trees. But Lake Nakuru is just swamped in fever tree forests. And the dynamic light, afternoon and morning light that pierces through these forests is just absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we struggled with sightings at first. I think with the expansion of the lake itself, because of all the rain and everything, a lot of the road network has actually been washed away.
Okay.
And so you can't travel as much of the national park as you might have in previous years, which may have impacted some of the experiences. So we didn't see cats. We had these ideas of leopards and lions in amongst this fever tree forest, and it's important to visualize these things so when it happens, know you're ready for it. But unfortunately, we didn't get as lucky with cats. But we had beautiful sightings of rhino, tons and tons of buffalo, awesome bird species, hyenas, and a number of other smaller things to photograph as well. So just generally to take in that place.
But that's what I was going to say as well. It comes down to we chatted about expectations, and you can't have an expectation when going on safari because you can never. It's not up to you.
Exactly.
You got to take in whatever the bush is willing to show you. And for you, I know, listening to you talk about the fever tree forest when you come back, I mean, that in itself is a sighting, you know,
It
to
is.
experience
And
that.
it's absolutely worth photographing on its own, even though there's no subject in front of you.
Yeah.
Because it's just nothing, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And giraffes and just anything, any subject, regardless of its size, even if it's not a cat, is just superb in amongst those fever tree forests. So we had a
Absolutely.
wonderful experience there.
Yeah.
And from there, as you know, we moved across to Amboseli,
Yeah.
which completely blew my mind. I mean, I know we've seen trip reports from Mike and Andrew and Gerry and guys that have been to Amboseli frequently over the last couple of years, but nothing could prepare me for what I saw. Obviously, the main thing is to try and see Kilimanjaro,
Yeah.
and that's what you want to see from the get-go.
Yeah.
But weather played its part, and the mountain was pretty much hidden for most of our time there. The clouds kind of went away in one afternoon.
Did you get a glimpse of it?
We got a glimpse,
Okay.
a good glimpse actually.
Yeah,
We could see the snow on the top.
Because I know you sent a couple of images to the group
Yeah.
and on your Instagram story where this is where the mountain is.
Yeah,
It should be,
yeah,
but
exactly.
the clouds.
So thankfully it did clear, and we did manage to see the
Yeah.
mountain at one stage. And most importantly of all, a huge herd of elephants beneath it. So that's what you want to see: is elephants, Kilimanjaro, open backgrounds.
Done.
So we're really lucky with that.
Yeah.
We had two really big tuskers. I think one of them is called Big Craig, if I'm not mistaken. And rightly so. He's a massive herd, the biggest tusker I've ever seen.
Okay,
We had a male lion, a sub-adult male lion, climb a tree and descend 3 times. So we got him going up, we got him coming down, we turned around to take photographs of
And he was back up
another herd of elephants walking past, turned around and he's back up, and he did that 3 times.
Just playful? What were your guesses?
I'm not sure. He was mating with a female nearby, so I don't know if he was just restless.
Showing off a little bit, yeah.
But he literally went up and down 3 times.
Special.
He completely botched the first time coming down. He missed the horizontal branch and he just made
Yeah.
an absolute mess of himself on the
Yeah.
ground. So maybe the second time was to try and regain some of his
Yeah.
pride that was lost going up the
Yeah.
first time. But anyway, that was insane. So we had awesome line sighting to begin with. And the key there is elephants.
Yeah.
Open backgrounds, dust.
Yeah.
And they move from the swamps in Amboseli all the way to the foothills of Kilimanjaro, and they do that every single day. And it's ingrained in these herds to make that movement every single day, and you just can see that it's at a particular time, as the sun starts to set in the sky, beautiful backlit dust, these elephants start to make the move towards Kilimanjaro, and you've got to be there to photograph them.
Magic.
So insane sightings there, which was really, really cool. And on our last morning, heading from the lodge to the airstrip, clear as day, Kilimanjaro could not have been more crisp for us that morning.
Beautiful.
And once again had a beautiful herd of elephants walking past. So that was like the best goodbye we could possibly have to Amboseli.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And back here in the office, and
Yeah.
it's wrapping up on a few admin-related things. In fact, Trevor and I are going to be recording later today our video insert for the photo academy that we
Yeah.
had, which has been quite difficult for us to get together, but now it's going to go live quite soon.
Yeah.
And just catching up on a few emails and other trip-related things, and then back off to the Mara in a couple of weeks. So it's busy.
Busy.
Yeah.
All systems go.
Exactly.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Trev.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it, bud. Cheers.
Hope you all enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. Great to see the excitement and the passion that you guys have shown. And Alistair, I'm sure once you get up to the Masai Mara for the migration season, you're going to have the same amazing experiences that Trevor had. Now, guys, Trevor and Alistair have both guided, as you know, and to see this kind of excitement just shows you how amazing East Africa in particular really is. So imagine what your reaction will be when you head up there. So if you'd like to get up to the Masai Mara, whether it be during migration season or for the Masai Mara experience, please get in touch with us and we can definitely help share those experiences with you, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So Gerry and Mike are also currently in the Masai Mara. They're hosting our first week of the Great Migration Safari, and they've been killing us with their WhatsApp updates of river crossings, leopards with cubs and all sorts. But for this week, they're doing something a little bit different. They're catching up with all of our guides there who play a vital role in the overall guest experience. Let's see what they got up to, and it also gives you opportunity to get to know the guides.
Hello everyone, so myself and Gerry hosting the very first 2018 Great Migration Safari here in the Masai Mara. And our update this week for the Wild Eye Diaries is going to be chatting to all these great gentlemen who make a world of difference to us while we're out here in the field. We want to find out a bit more about their highlights, their thoughts for the season, and yeah, basically just a random update for the first week of the Great Migration.
Yes.
Let's get rolling. Gerry.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Gerry. I'm from Wild Eye. I'm sitting in front. Sit back. I'm sitting in front of. No, I'm joking. So Daniel's on camera. He's one of our guides as well. Like Mike said, we're on the banks of the Mara River. Daniel, just slowly film the river for me, please. Turn around, show the river. It's beautiful. Now slowly come back. And just show the lounge around us.
You have to wave, James.
Wave as he comes past. Yeah. So just show the lounge all the way to the bar. All right, and then come back to me and Sammy. Yeah, you're a good cameraman. So, yeah, literally, I mean, we were going to try, and one thing why we can't send out multiple things is just because of Wi-Fi connectivity. We're in the middle of the bush, like you see the Mara River's here. So Mike and I are doing a combined one, and we just thought we'll chat to these guys. Most of you know them. James.
Yes.
What is your highlight of the trip so far, of this week? Best sighting so far?
My name is James from Wild Eye.
Yes.
I'm driver and guide. We are happy that we see already the wildebeest. They come from Tanzania, Serengeti. They come to the other side, but then we see two kind of the crossings, and we are happy about it. By next week, we hope there's more and more crossing.
Do you think, I mean, you and I parked there, do you think they're going to come across this afternoon?
Probably.
I'm not going to hold you to it, but maybe.
They are. A lot of wildebeest.
Yeah.
They will be here very soon.
Yeah?
Anytime they will cross it.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Mike, ask someone else a question.
Cool. Sammy.
Yeah.
Why did you shave your head? Go to Sammy.
I shave my head.
Yes.
Yeah, I want every time in the morning. I wake up very early in the morning, and I need
Wait.
to wash my face plus my head. I don't need to start finding combs and start making my hair. I just need to wash my face, my body, and then done.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Do you have a problem with Mike and my hair then?
No. I don't have any problem. Even Jimmy's, even whoever. But it's me and
Okay, you look
style.
That's some Mzee.
This is Jordan Madala Mzee.
Yeah. Okay, my turn. Jimmy, are you buying me coffee tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, if I have some dollars left, so I'm gonna buy you.
So are we going to make a bet this afternoon?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's do this bet. Come to me quickly here. So for you guys that know Jono, he likes to bet with Jimmy all the time. Jono and I are here next week. So Jimmy, go to Jimmy for me, please. What are we betting on? Crossing this afternoon.
We're betting on crossing?
What do you say? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, $20. This is wrong because I'm betting against it.
Yeah.
But it's money. Okay, so $20 if the crossing happens, I'll pay you 20.
Yes. And I pay you with changa, not dollars.
Sure. Changa's bad. It's bad. Actually, go to Mike. Mike, have you had changa before?
Not yet, no.
When are you having it?
Whenever you give
Probably
it to
the
me.
next day or so.
Probably.
Okay, Mike,
Look forward to
Jackson.
it. Jackson. Okay, so obviously you're one of our newer guides. How have you seen the operation running so far? So you can go to Jackson. In
Good
terms of-
teamwork
yeah.
in the Wild Eye safaris, and we are happy seeing the migration crossing, and we hope we'll see more and more. And we also happy sighting of leopards and leopard cubs
Yeah.
and cheetahs in the plain of Mara Triangle.
Nice.
Nice.
Good team.
Good
Okay.
stuff. Okay, and just before we end up with Jackson, for these of you who love birding, you can go to Jackson again.
Yeah.
Here's probably one of our better birders.
Oh, really? I
What's
didn't
your
know this.
favorite bird out here in the Mara?
My favorite-
Wildebeest, eh?
It's wildebeest your favorite? The ones that fly over the river. They're your favorite. But what's your favorite bird?
pied kingfisher.
Pied
Nice.
kingfisher.
Yeah, I like to see it hovering over the waters, diving in as its hunting style.
Okay.
Nice.
That's cool.
Very cool.
I have a question. I'm not sure. I'm going to ask James and Jimmy to answer this together for me. Who, and this is just fun. That's fine. The battery's cool. That's okay. Keep going. Sorry, technical issues, but carry on. I'm going to ask James and Jimmy together, which of our guides, show them now, show the two of them, drive the slowest.
Sunny.
No, that's not
slow,
It's
but
not
sure.
a good thing.
Not sure.
Okay, he's old. He's Mzee. Okay, he's Mdala. James, ask Mike a question, please. Anything.
What's the best sighting you seen
In the Mara.
in Mara?
The best.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yes, there's many best sightings. But yes, if I think
On this trip.
on
Yeah,
this
trip.
Oh,
I
this
see on
trip.
this trip. Yeah.
on this trip, Yes, that is really on the spot.
Yes, he.
I'm trying to think
Come on,
back.
Brute,
trying to think
Changa's
back.
coming, huh?
It's coming hard. I can feel it.
Myself, I see a very good setting of a leopard and the cub. I've been
that
here for
was
6
special.
years and
Yeah?
I haven't seen this. My first time I saw.
For real?
Yep.
Are you joking?
I haven't seen even a single day.
Wow.
I'm
Oh,
not
that
good.
was special.
I didn't really see that.
Yeah.
No, we were with, who was I with? Sammy that morning when we saw that leopard and
And
the cub. That was cool, but I think a standout highlight for me has just been I knew lions were in big numbers in the Mara, but this week,
Yeah.
I mean, it was what, in the first 3 hours? Not even, the first 2 hours,
Yeah.
2.5 hours,
Yes.
16 lion.
Was that many?
16, yeah.
Holy hell.
16 and on the border of Tanzania, 2 cheetah
Yeah, it's true, eh?
in 3 hours. So as a highlight of a day, that
Yeah.
was it. 16 lions, two cheetah, 16 individual lions.
Right.
Yeah. So that was it.
Let's do one more question and then we'll wrap it up. Jimmy, ask Sammy a question.
Sammy,
Yes, Jimmy.
how are you? This afternoon.
Cool.
That's one question. How are you?
You
David?
can't do that.
That's one. Two. What is your expectation this afternoon?
This afternoon, I'm expecting, they are building up wild beasts on top of Lookout Hill.
Who's building them?
The naturalist. Okay, they are pushing each other, walking around, going straight to the river.
Okay.
So we are expecting, Jimmy, this afternoon we have a crossing, at least a crossing. Yeah.
Can I fire you if we don't have a crossing?
No, this is nature. Don't
Oh, it's nature now. Now it's nature. Okay, let's start over here. You, then you, then you, then you, then Mike and I will chat. Tell people why they must come visit Wild Eye at the camp.
Sorry?
Tell people why they must come and visit Wild Eye at our camp.
Okay. You need to come to Wild Eye Camp because we are sitting next to the river, and the crossing is just here, and we need more. And we have this lounge, it's beautiful. You have to come and see, and we have lots of drinks there. We have the wines, lots of wine. Inkishu, Duma, Bunda, all these. Welcome and have enjoy here in Masai Mara.
Come to Wild Eye Safari Camp because it is situated in a very strategic point for sighting cats in the best area for migration, so you will enjoy your time and share experience guides, information than before, and
got
than
it.
any other guide. Welcome.
Well played. Jimmy, tell them.
You guys, wherever you are, make use of that wild eye. Find out what is inside it. Thank you.
Yes.
Nice.
James.
Hello people, you are so welcome anytime. We are happy to have you here. We have more experience going on and we are happy to see you, and we are at the camp. Welcome to a camp because it is a new camp. We are just very close to the river. You can see many and many crossing as you can. Thank you. You are so welcome.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, wrap it up, huh?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Good. So let's try something. I normally end my videos. My name is Gerry. I'm from Wild Eye. So we're going to try this and see if it works. My name is Gerry.
Sammy from Wild Eye.
Jackson.
Jimmy.
James.
Mike.
We're all from Wild Eye. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
So as you can see, great bunch of guys, truly down to earth, and like I mentioned, they play a massive part in making sure our guests leave with amazing experiences. And well, we look forward to seeing what the rest of the week has got in store for them. We'll catch up with them as soon as they get back to the offices. Now, unfortunately, we don't have an update from Marlon this week. He's still in South Luangwa. He's hosting the Monopools and South Luangwa Safari back to back, and due to connectivity, he's unable to send us any videos. But from the messages we've received from Marlon, it seems like all's going well, and I'm sure his guests are having an incredible time. Now, for me personally, again, like I mentioned, it's been a busy time. I've been away for probably the last month or so, and then flying out again tomorrow to Monopools, hosting the Jataki and Monopool Safari for the next week. So I probably won't catch you guys on the Wild Eye Diaries next week, but to end off this episode, here's some highlights from my last 2 weeks in the Timbavati and in Kruger, and I hope you guys enjoy the video clip. that you enjoy this episode of the Wild Eye Diaries. And as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Until next time, cheers. Have a good one. Hey guys, okay, this is not a joke. So I literally almost finished, or pretty much finished the Wild Eye Diaries insert. And remember I mentioned those annoying messages we get when we're in the office and the guys send us updates from the field? Well, Gerry literally just sent me this about 5 minutes ago. If this doesn't convince you to go to the Masai Mara, then I'm not quite sure what will. But this is now officially the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll catch up with you guys again next week. Cheers.
Hey everybody, so sorry, last minute entry here. I know Johan was almost finished with the diaries and I asked him just to pause it because we've just come back to camp here. As you know, Mike and I are on the Mara and the vibe in camp is off the charts. We just had, for me in 7-8 years, probably one of my second, maybe third biggest, if not close to the biggest crossings I've ever seen, and it's not finished yet. There's a whole lot going on. So when we got after the crossing, I mean, people were losing their minds in a good way. It's just amazing. So I just went around with the camera, pointed it at some of the people and said, listen, what do you think? So here is, just in my tent, here is a small wrap up of our morning in the Mara. See you next time. Bye. Michael, I can't see you because there's sun. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, madness happened. Thousands of wildebeest. We waited for about 30 minutes, if not longer.
Sorry, I just threw coffee on myself.
That's okay, it looks good, it suits you. The brown and the blue works well. But yeah, major build-up of thousands of wildebeest coming in over the horizon. And yeah, the cross was on. We raced into the crossing point. And we literally watched easily 4,000 or 5,000 wildebeest jump into that river.
How many can you see behind me?
I'm trying to count the legs divided by 4, but it's not working. But yeah, there are still thousands of them out there. The fields are black. And I was telling Gerry and the guests as well that I witnessed crossings last year, but I've never felt what I felt today. It was an emotional overflow. You didn't know where to look, you didn't know where to photograph, you didn't know where to point things out to guests. It was really manic. They were crossing in 3 separate areas, which was, yeah, it was just mind-blowing, absolutely insane.
Linda, what do you think?
Unbelievable. Greatest first experience ever.
How many is it as big as you thought it was going to be?
It's thousands more and more and more. I mean, it's tens of thousands and they're still coming.
I think we might be here for the day, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Andy, what do you think?
Well above of what anything was expected.
Because you've seen many crossings in your life.
This is probably the biggest and the shockingly beautiful crossing I've ever seen.
And we're just warming up.
Still got 24 hours of it going on.
Too easy. Ishik, talk to me.
Yeah,
your
okay.
first crossing.
This safari is perfect with Gerry, and it was the first time for the crossing.
Yeah.
And unbelievable.
Did you get the shot you
I'm
wanted?
really happy. I'm really happy. Thank you very much, Gerry.
Too good, man. Too good. Sammy, could you hop up? Tell me about the crossing.
The crossing was classic. It was
thank
very
you.
nice.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you
amazing.
take pictures?
Yeah. Good
You did,
pictures, yeah.
Good.
Shots and the lion kill.
I like it. Engen, where's Engen? Tell me about the crossing, man.
Can't find words, man.
Are you a little bit emotional right now?
Yeah.
Do you need a hug?
Yes, please.
Proper though, eh?
That's a good hug.
You're hugging him.
Here you go. Happy man now. Here you go. We have the hug.
Too good, man. And then there's apparently a rumor that we've got a new best wildlife photographer in Turkey.
Thank you very much.
I'm here for the whole week. Thank you. All right. Jason, thumbs up. Too good, huh?
You guys see in person.
Done. Done. Can you feed me faster?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just a rough idea. We've said this whole week it was going to go build and build and build and build. You can't actually see what's happening there because does a shitload even come close to explaining it? Probably not. No. Anyway,
Not even a cock is full.
Yeah, cock is full, shit ton, whatever. They're running all over the place. So, we're having breakfast now. We're going to stay at this tree because more than likely the herds are swinging around and we have a big day left. This is why Wild Eye.
Yes.
Wild Eye.
Yes, man.
Every time.
Lekker.